Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now here's what we've got for you today. Hey folks, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's incident debrief is coming to us from Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, and we're looking at the lessons identified from the Balmoral Bar incident on Dalry Road, Edinburgh, 12th of July 2009, which sadly took the life of firefighter Ewan Williamson. Ewan was a loved son of Linda and David, a brother to Rachel and Rebecca, and a loved partner to Lindsay. He served at Tollcross Fire Station on Greenwatch. There's some big lessons to take away in today's incident debrief. And as always, these incident debriefs are done with the intention of ensuring that the lessons are identified and embedded within the fire and rescue service culture, with the eventual hope that we will reduce the risk to our firefighters and also the communities that we serve. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Gore-Tex Professional Fabrics. Now, we all know the working environment of a firefighter is filled with challenges. We face serious risks on the job, such as heat exhaustion, burns, physical and mental stress, and we frequently come into contact with high levels of toxic chemicals. Now, I have been wearing Gore-Tex for nearly 2 decades on the front line, working in hostile environments, tackling challenging incidents from firefighting to water incidents and in urban search and rescue environments. Gore-Tex have a well-earned reputation for protecting professionals in the fire and emergency services through their family of highly innovative, waterproof, breathable moisture barriers that exceeds global performance standards and are trusted worldwide. Gore-Tex, going further together. Our incident starts on the 12th of July 2009 at 38 minutes past midnight. Lothian and the Borders Fire and Rescue Service received a call to a fire in a public bar at 178 Dalry Road, Edinburgh. The original seat of fire was within a basement in a room used as an office, with fire and smoke spreading upwards towards the flattened properties above. At 0:38 hours, control received the call and 3 pumps and a turntable ladder were mobilised to the incident. The first 2 pumps and the turntable ladder are in attendance, and thick smoke was observed issuing from the front door of the Balmoral Bar. The front door is opened, and the weather conditions at this time are dry and light wind. After only 5 minutes after receiving the call, a breathing apparatus and control board is established at the front of the building. This becomes entry control point 1. The incident commander then gathers information on the location of the fire from the landlady's husband. After a quick deployment of resources, the incident commander instructs the crews to change from a hose reel to a line of 45mm hose due to the location of the fire being in the basement. At 45 minutes past midnight, the third appliance arrives at the incident. The incident commander then provides the B-18-1 with a route to the basement and briefs them to locate and extinguish the fire with a line of 45mm hose. B-18-1 consists of a team leader and firefighter Williamson. We're going to pause there on the timeline and just zoom out to give some context on the incident and the look of the building. Now, this premises is comprised of a public bar on the ground floor and a basement. The layout of the public bar included fixed seating areas, bar area, fast food preparation area and the toilets to the rear. Access to the bar was via a door at the Dalry Road. There were 2 emergency exits from the bar, one to the rear of the premises and one to the communal stairwell of Downfield Place. To the left of the bar was a stairway leading to the basement. Now, of course, it's unknown how much of this was known to the incident commander on their arrival, but getting that context from the landlady's husband and the occupant will have given them some wider understanding of the challenges faced at this particular unique building. Now, the basement was used to store beer kegs, carbon dioxide cylinders, coolers and other supplies used in the licensed trade, and there were also general storage of seasonal items, furnishings and promotional materials in the basement. This starts to give us an understanding of the fire load that would be contained down there, and for any of you that have looked up on National Operational Guidance, basements are a particularly tricky incident to attend, due in part to the fact that when a fire is involved, you'll be entering down through potentially the hottest thermal layer as you descend into the basement. Located at the rear of the basement was a room used as an office where the administration of the business was undertaken. There were various electrical items such as a computer, CCTV systems, and safe used to store cash. There was also a fitted, lockable timber cupboard used to store bottles and spirits. The floor above the office was multi-layered, consisting of a concrete slab reinforced with steel bars. This rested on timber joists that spanned from the back wall onto the steel beam. All other floors throughout the building were constructed of timber boards over timber joists. The internal subdivision was created by a combination of brick and thermalite block walls, with a plastered finish and also a timber stud partition lined with plasterboard. Now, of course, there's a delicate balance between gathering vital pieces of information from the premises and the occupants, and the time at which you believe you've got enough information to put together your tactical plan for the incident. At 0:46, a watch manager approaches the incident commander to advise him that people are at tenement windows in Downfield Place. These are the flats above the bar, and smoke from the fire was affecting the residents of these flats. The The incident commander tasked the watch manager with the evacuation of the flats in Downfield Place. At the same time, B-18-1 are committed to fight the fire with a charge line of 45mm hose. There's almost zero visibility within the bar area. The temperature is moderate but increases as they progress behind the bar to the basement. B-18-2 are now committed to assist B-18-1 to manoeuvre the line of hose to the basement. They also take a thermal imaging camera. Just 2 minutes later, B-18-3 are briefed to rescue any persons trapped within the flats in Downfield Place. And at the same time, an informative message is sent stating that there is a fire in the basement, 1 line of hose, and 6 BA committed. Tactical mode offensive. On receipt of this message, Control mobilised the first group commander to the incident. 1 minute later, a further informative message is sent stating that 2 entry controls are now in operation, 1 line of hose, 6 BA, and 1 turntable ladder in use. Just 1 minute later, a child is rescued from the first floor of Downfield Place via a short extension ladder. This is the first individual rescued from the premises. The first assistance message then goes in to make pumps 4. Just 1 minute later, a male and female are rescued from a flat in Downfield Place by the turntable ladder and are reunited with their child. This is rescues 2 and 3. Control have then mobilised another group commander B as the 4th and 5th pump command officer. After carrying out their task, B-18-2 exit the Balmoral Bar to obtain more information on how to access the stairs leading to the basement. After a short conversation, B-18-2 go back into the building and pass the information to B-18-1. Having acted upon the rescues of the first 3 casualties, a further informative message is sent requesting an ambulance for 1 child under the age of 1, conscious and breathing, but suffering from the effects of smoke inhalation. Shortly after, a female is rescued from a flat of Downfield Place, again with the turntable ladder. This is rescue 4. Shortly after, rescues 5 and 6 come with a male and female rescued from the flat in Downfield Place via another short extension ladder. Only 17 minutes into the incident, BA Teams 1 and 2 have now located the stairs to the basement. BA Team 2 remained on the ground floor to assist with feeding the hose down to BA Team 1. At the same time, a second assistant message is sent through to make pumps 5. On the request of this, an incident logistics support unit is mobilised. Control also mobilise a fire investigation officer. BA Team 1, having now located the basement, commenced gas cooling at the bottom of the stairs. The conditions are very warm with almost zero visibility. BA Team 1 carry out a gauge check and withdraw due to low cylinder contents. 21 minutes into the incident, rescues 7 and 8 take place as a male and female are rescued from another flat in Downfield Place, again by the turntable ladder. Shortly after, rescue 9 takes place when 1 male is rescued from a flat at the rear of Downfield Place via a short extension ladder. This male himself had been positioned outside the window preparing to jump from the building. 21 minutes into the incident, the 4th appliance arrives. A further informative message was sent stating a line of hose, 6 BA and 1 turntable ladder, 6 persons rescued from the building, tactical mode offensive. The incident commander also requests this message is sent before he is made aware of a successful rescue 7, 8 and 9, so only 6 persons are reported to control at this time. An area manager, having been informed of the incident, proceeds and requests the control keep him updated. Given the number of rescues carried out and the number of resources being committed to the incident, the Assistant Chief Fire Officer is informed and he requests to be kept updated. 24 minutes into the incident, a further informative message is sent stating this is a 4-storey building, approximately 20 metres by 20 metres. The fire is within the basement and ground floor. 25 minutes into the incident, the Command Support Unit, the 5th Fire Appliance, and the Breathing Apparatus Support Unit all arrive at the incident. At the same time, the incident commander decides to sectorise the incident and a further informative message is sent stating that it's been sectorised into 3 sectors, including the names of the sectors commanders. The incident commander makes the decision to open the pavement delivery hatch in Downfield Place to determine if it's an alternative access route to the basement. This is a pivotal decision, so clock this one in your mind. We are 23 minutes into the incident. Having received the command, a crew proceed to force open the pavement delivery hatch. BA Teams 1 and 2 follow the hose and exit the building, then report to Entry Control Point 1. 31 minutes into the incident, the pavement hatch of Downfield Place is forced open. Having made access, Sector 1 Commander and BA Team 4 investigate the pavement delivery hatch in Downfield Place and discount it as a viable means of alternative access. BA Team 4 are then briefed to follow the line of hose to the bottom of the stair and continue with firefighting. The team enter the building, taking a hose reel with them for protection. 34 minutes into the incident, rescues 10 and 11 take place as a male and female are rescued from another flat in Downfield Place, again by the turntable ladder in Sector 2. Having liaised with the Entry Control Officer, BA Team 1 then report back to Entry Control Point 1 to be recommitted into the incident. The Sector 1 Commander asks if the team are okay to go back in, to which the team members give a thumbs up sign. The Sector 1 commander briefs BA Team 1 to proceed back to the basement and continue firefighting. BA Team 4 also progresses down to the basement stair and commences gas cooling for 3 or 4 minutes. The team leader of BA Team 4 observes an orange glow from his position. As BA Team 1 enter the building on their second BA wear, they are briefed to follow the line of 45mm hose to the basement and locate and extinguish the fire. At this point, the Sector 1 commander instructs the crew manager to break windows at the front of the bar in an attempt to improve conditions inside the building. So now with the initial point of access, the hatch being opened, and windows being broken on the front of the premises, begin to think about the level of air that's being entrained into this developing fire. The Sector 1 commander sends a message to all crews within the Balmoral Bar to ensure that they are on a branch as venting of the bar is going to begin. 2 BA teams are now in the premises. BA Team 1 leader hears and acknowledges the message of venting. BA Team 4 also receives the message of venting, but do not acknowledge it. 42 minutes into the incident, the crew manager asks the Sector 1 commander to confirm that no one is working near to the windows before he begins to break them. He then breaks the windows on either side of the main door to the premises. Now 43 minutes into the incident, BA Team 5 are briefed to commence a search of the flats in Downfield Place, and BA Team 2 are briefed to proceed to the basement and continue firefighting as well. BA Team 1, now on their second wear, reach BA Team 4 in the basement. BA Team 4 informs BA Team 1 that the fire has still not been located and decide to exit due to low cylinder contents. BA Team 3 are briefed to proceed to the pavement delivery hatch and deliver water into the basement with a line of hose. They do this for approximately 10 minutes despite the seat of fire has still not been located. Now we have multiple vents in the building, crews in the basement, still with no location of the fire. BA Team 4 exit the building and report to Entry Control Point 1. The incident commander reviews the resources available and decides to send a third assistance message to make Pump 7 for BA teams due to the volume of smoke emitting from the bar and a concern for the trapped residents. BA Team 1, remember on their second wear now, withdraw from the basement stating that the heat is getting unbearable. They meet BA Team 2 on the ground floor and at the end of the bar and reiterate that they are withdrawn due to the effects of heat. Visibility on the ground floor at this time is almost zero. BA Team 1 then passes BA Team 2 and the BA Team 2 leader shouts to BA Team 1 to follow the hose out. Team leader of BA Team 1 has the 45mm hose in his left hand. When he reaches the hatch in the bar and as he turns right, he is aware that his team member is behind him. As they reach the hatch for the bar, there are now 3 lines of hose reel and 1 line of 45mm laid out. BA Team 2, ready to descend into the basement, commence gas cooling prior to descending the stairs, but it becomes too hot and they make their way back out due to the heat. 51 minutes into the incident, after going in for their second wear, the BA Team 1 leader exits the building and sees the Sector 1 commander making his way over to him. The Sector 1 commander asks the team leader where is his team member, Firefighter Williamson. The team leader says that he's right behind him. The Sector 1 commander states that he is not and instructs the team leader to pop his head back in to get him. The Sector 1 commander then makes contact with Firefighter Williamson via fireground radio. He replies, "I'll be there in a minute, boss. I'm stuck. I think I'm stuck in the toilet." The Sector 1 commander observes the BA Team 1 team leader proceeding back into the building alone and attempts to stop him, then shouts for him to come back out. However, he continues to proceed into the premises. The Sector 1 commander makes contact with Firefighter Williamson once again via the fireground radio. He replies, "No, boss. I am still stuck. It's a toilet. The door's jammed." The Sector 1 commander then asks him if he can feel the hose at his feet. He replies, "No, I can't. I can't feel it." He then instructs Firefighter Williamson to activate his distress signal unit and states that BA teams are coming in to get him. Hey folks, just wanted to jump in with a quick piece around firefighter health and well-being. Whether you are trying to join the fire service and pass them tricky fitness tests, if you are currently serving, or if you are coming up to that next chapter of your life, retiring from the emergency services, we get so many different questions around it. So in partnership with Fitness for the Frontline, we have come up with a series of guidance and programs specifically designed to reflect the physical elements of the role of a firefighter. So whether it's carrying an LPP across an overgrown field, lifting a ladder above your head under running it, or wrestling with cutting gear for 30 plus minutes at some kind of complicated RTC, our bodies are required to lift, push, and carry objects in very specific circumstances. That is effectively what Fitness on the Frontline focuses on, as well as the longer term aspects of overall health and wellness for our firefighters. Now, we are definitely not about to be smashing out world records or getting that beach body ready in 6 weeks rubbish. The systems and programs that we put in place are adjusted for people's current fitness levels, and they're not a prescriptive weight or a one-size-fits-all BS. It is very likely for myself personally that I'm still going to be a firefighter when I'm 60 plus, so longevity in the role is really important to me, and I know it is for so many people out there. It all starts with no obligation, 7 days worth of the programming, absolutely free. So whether you're joining, serving, or looking at the next chapter in your life, Fitness for the Frontline is designed by firefighters for firefighters. Now back to the show. BA Team 1 team leader, having proceeded back into the incident by himself, meets up with BA Team 2 at the hatch to the bar area. He explains that firefighter Williamson did not come out of the bar. The team leader of BA2 confirms hearing firefighter Williamson reply over the radio that he was stuck in a toilet. The team leader of BA2 makes contact with firefighter Williamson via firefighter radio, asking his location, to which he replies, "I've turned left at the end of the bar instead of right. I'm in a toilet up here somewhere." The teams hear the Sector 1 commander asking firefighter Williamson to activate his DSU, but no BA wearers within the bar area can hear the DSU sounding. They proceed as a team of 3 to search the bar area, shouting to firefighter Williamson, but due to the intensity of the heat, they are forced to withdraw. 55 minutes into the incident, BA Team 2 and the team leader of BA Team 1 exit the building, still without firefighter Williamson. Now 56 minutes into the incident, the Sector Commander 1 informs the incident commander that BA Team 1 have been separated. A further informative message is sent declaring a BA emergency. Control confirm that an additional ambulance is required. Eager to locate the missing team member from BA Team 1, the team member from BA Team 2 gathers more information on the location of the toilet from the landlady's husband. The team leader of BA Team 1 is at the set servicing area, attempting to service his BA set. A crew manager checks the team leader's condition and notices that he's very warm and damp with sweat. He reassures and advises him to drink some water and leaves him to rest. 57 minutes into the incident, an emergency team 1 are briefed to follow the hose into the building and locate the toilets at the rear of the pub. Visibility on the ground floor is almost zero. As a sixth appliance arrives at the incident, the breathing apparatus engine control officer at engine control point 1 informs the incident commander that firefighter Williamson has approximately 15 minutes of air left until his time of whistle. The area manager who attended for the 6th and 7th Pump Command officer is briefed by the incident commander, and at the same time, BA Team 2 proceed to engine control point 1 and are briefed to route to the toilets and locate firefighter Williamson. They now become Emergency Team 2. The 7th fire appliance arrives 1 minute later at the incident. Time is ticking down. An additional fire appliance is mobilised as a result of the BA emergency, and Emergency Team 2 are committed into the building. Control then contact the Assistant Chief Fire Officer to inform them that a BA emergency has been declared, and at the same time work to remove the wood panelling under the windows to the right hand side of the bar entrance, becomes in an attempt to improve conditions inside the building. Meanwhile, inside the bar, Emergency Teams 1 and 2 meet at the hatch area at the end of the bar. They confirm where they believe the location of the toilet to be. Both teams stop speaking and hold their breath in an attempt to hear the DSU or any sound of firefighter Williamson moving about, but nothing is heard. Following the brief outside by the incident commander, the area manager takes charge of the incident and becomes the incident commander. Finally, at 64 minutes into the incident, Emergency Team 2 locate what they believe to be the door leading to the toilet, and the team leader attempts to open the door without success. He states that it feels as if it is moving, but something is stuck behind it. They continually shout on firefighter Williamson, but hear no response. As the team leader from Emergency Team 2 pushes on the door, the floor dips slightly beneath his feet, and the team member from Emergency Team 1 shouts, "The floor is going to go." The team leader from Emergency Team 2 continues to push the door just as there is a second warning that the floor is going to go. Suddenly, the floor fails below the team leader of Emergency Team 2, who drops down through it. Flames burst through the floor around him, and he grabs hold of his BA partner's leg. The team member from Emergency Team 2 drags his partner up out of the hole. Both are disorientated at this stage and continue to move back in an attempt to get out. They describe the floor as like walking on something soft, a hot, wet sponge. They move backwards until they reach solid ground. Emergency Team 1 make their way towards the hose to exit the building due to the floor collapse and the severity of the conditions within the bar. Emergency Team 2 are then struck by the jets of water being directed into the bar from outside, which are in use to knock back the flames rolling across the ceiling. This orientates the teams enough to indicate the way out of the bar. During this period of time, rescues 12, 13 and 14 have been carried out at Downfield Place in Sector 3, but firefighter Williamson is still nowhere to be seen. BA Team 3 were proceeding in through the front door to commence firefighting in the bar area as well, but retreat due to the sounds of collapse. BA Team 3 now exit the bar and proceed to enter control point 1. 68 minutes into the incident, 2 firefighters direct another jet into the window of the bar as the flames increase. A crew manager returns to the set servicing area to check on the team leader from BA Team 1 from the second time. The crew manager notices that the team leader's condition has not improved and calls for a paramedic. The operational commander, who was originally the incident commander, delegates a watch manager to assume the role of search coordinator to coordinate a search to locate firefighter Williamson, who is now running out of air. Emergency Teams 1 and 2 exit the building, having not successfully located the missing firefighter, and proceed to enter control point 1. They report that conditions are dangerous inside due to the floor collapse. The next BA team, now BA Team 6, are briefed to proceed to the basement and commence firefighting with a line of 45mm hose. BA Team 7 are briefed to proceed to the basement and commence search as there is a concern that firefighter Williamson may have fallen through the floor. 74 minutes into the incident, the projected time of whistle for the BA set of firefighter Williamson has been reached, but he's still nowhere to be seen. BA Teams 6 and 7 enter the bar area 76 minutes into the incident, 2 minutes after firefighter Williamson's time of whistle. With this ever-escalating incident, the 4th assistance message goes into make pumps 9. The ACFO then makes the decision to proceed to the incident. BA Team 4 enter for a second time, and they're briefed to proceed to the basement and continue firefighting, but they notice the temperature is hotter than their previous entry. BA Team 6 finally locate a line of hose in the basement and commence a search along this line, looking for firefighter Williamson. Despite finding out some time ago that firefighter Williamson was trapped, and 2 emergency teams already being committed, it is only 81 minutes into the incident that an emergency air supply equipment, also known as an ESET, is established at entry control point 1. 3 minutes later, the BA Team 6 locate the fire in the basement and commence firefighting. BA Team 7 proceed to the basement, and the team leader notices a massive rise in temperature and humidity. This team are briefed to commence search of the bar area with a line of 45mm hose. Now desperate to access the premises from any means possible, efforts begin to remove a door at the rear of the premises, again hopefully an attempt to find firefighter Williamson, who, for all intents and purposes, is now out of air. 92 minutes into the incident, the low pressure warning whistle from BA Team 6 team leader's BA set sounds. The team follow the hose out and notice flames near the bottom of the stairs. Given the now very high turnover of BA warriors, the new incident commander makes the decision to make pumps 11 for BA resources. After over 5 minutes attempting to remove the door giving access to the rear of the premises is removed, and a DSU is heard sounding in this area. BA Team 4 locate a line of hose in the basement and see flames at the basement ceiling, level where the collapse has taken place. BA Teams 10 and BA Team 4, now both in the premises as well, proceed in different directions and observe flames coming through the floor, and BA Team 4 also notes fire underneath the stairs in the basement, who also then decide to exit the premises as they believe their means of egress is going to be compromised. With multiple teams coming in and out of the premises, I can appreciate the incident debrief is now becoming very complex, as BA Team 9 are briefed by the Sector Commander 1 to take a right-hand route to find the toilet where firefighter Williamson is still believed to be trapped. BA Team 9 enter successfully but encounter a hole in the floor in the bar area as they progress with the search. This of course should have already been known, as one team had already fallen through the floor. They can hear a DSU sounding in front of them, but they're unsure if the sound is coming from the ground floor or the basement. BA Teams 4 pass BA Team 8 at the bar, and the team leader from BA Team 4 informs the BA Team 8 leader that they have just left the basement where the conditions are hot, and BA Team 4 proceed to the exit. As you will have heard earlier, having gained access successfully to the rear of the premises, an attempt is made to gain access to the toilet through the wall. This is in the rear corridor, and they put in use a hammer. But this is unsuccessful as the wall is constructed of solid stone. Still unsure where the noise of the DSU is coming from, BA Teams 8 and 9 meet at the side of the bar. Both teams hear the DSU sounding, but there's confusion whether the sound is coming from the ground floor or the basement again. They are then briefed to enter the bar with a short extension ladder to try and bridge the gap over the collapsed floor to gain access to the toilets where they still believe firefighter Williamson is. Over the course of the next 10 to 15 minutes, BA Teams 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 11 are committed again into the building to firefight, still searching for firefighter Williamson. Bear in mind, if you throw your mind back to the initial briefing of this building, whilst it's a very complex layout, it is only 20 by 20 metres. This point is made by no means to diminish the efforts of the teams, but to give you a greater understanding of how complex an incident can become when a basement is involved and multiple teams are facing challenges of fire loading and several vents that are now feeding the fire as well. As you'll have heard earlier, BA team, having safety concerns with bridging the ladder over the fire, they feel they're unable to see what they could even anchor the ladder onto, so they reject the plan. Realising they weren't having any success with the hammer, now 108 minutes into the incident, a crew manager and firefighter take a large petrol-driven disc cutter round to Sector 3 and begin to gain access to the pub toilet window. They have to cut through 9 layers of material, which include steel bars, timber, and other steel. Difficulties are experienced with the position of the disc cutter, which cuts out due to being starved of fuel. Now 110 minutes into the incident, the 10th and 11th appliances arrive at the incident. There's now a total of 12 pumps in attendance at this time. 11 pumps from the predetermined attendance and subsequent assistance messages, plus 1 additional pump that automatically mobilises by controller as a result of the BA emergency. 40 minutes later, the cutting away of the barred window into the pub toilet in Sector 3 is finally complete. Multiple of the BA teams are coming in and out of the premises and experience similar issues to the first BA teams, with unsecure floors and the fire still raging in the premises. Close to 2.5 hours into the incident, BA Team 10 are committed via the bar toilet window, which was successfully gotten into after 40 minutes of trying. They then describe conditions as being hot with zero visibility. They immediately discover firefighter Williamson beneath the window. They see the red lights of his DSU and can hear it sounding. While attempting to recover firefighter Williamson, a foot of the BA Team 10 team leader drops through the fire-damaged floor. Only a small section of floor remains intact around the area where firefighter Williamson has been located. Despite having successfully located firefighter Williamson, BA Team 10 exit the toilet without him, due to the tremendous fatigue of attempting to get him out. They did, however, remove the sink to create space to assist with access. BA Team 12 now enter the toilet and recover firefighter Williamson. An ambulance arrives in Sector 1. Firefighter Williamson is removed and placed on the ambulance. At 154 minutes, the evacuation signal is sounded. Sector 1 commander has decided to evacuate the building for safety reasons, as firefighter Williamson has now been located. This ends the timeline of this incident. Context around the entrapment of firefighter Williamson. Firefighter Williamson was a member of the first attending fire crews and was part of the initial BA response. He was designated as a team member of a 2-person BA crew, with a firefighter in development allocated the role of team leader. BA Team 1 and other 2-person BA Team 2 were instructed by the incident commander to make their way into the basement and to locate and extinguish the fire, a reasonable request from any incident commander attending the incident. BA Team 1 entered the bar through the front door, taking with them a line of 45mm hose, and BA Team 2, as you recall, were feeding the hose through the building for them. Throwing your minds back, BA Team 1 made their way down the stairs to the basement, but they couldn't locate the fire. They made their way out of the building following the line of hose, as did BA Team 2. The 4 firefighters then changed their BA cylinders and consumed some water, and after only about 6 minutes, they were asked by the sector commander if they're good to go. BA Team 1 replied positively, as many firefighters would, and were instructed to re-enter the basement, again after only 6 minutes of rest. At this point, conditions were similar to those experienced on their first entry, and they descended into the stairs of the basement. As you'll recall, 3 meters into the basement, they came across another BA team working on a branch. After a short conversation, they confirmed they'd not located the fire, and that BA team withdrew due to low cylinder contents. Just 5 minutes later, BA Team 1 decided the heat became unbearable and came to the stairs of the basement. At the top of the stairs, firefighter Williamson's partner was met by BA Team 2. This is the moment where things changed, as seconds later, firefighter Williamson passed the same BA team without stopping and said he was going outside due to the adverse effects of heat. At this point, firefighter Williamson's partner asked him if he was still on the hose, to which firefighter Williamson replied he was. When firefighter Williamson's partner reached the hatch, he went down the single step from the bar, holding the hose. He was still aware of firefighter Williamson's presence behind him. He didn't stop and discuss any change of direction at the bar hatch, as they'd already agreed to follow the line of hose out of the building. Firefighter Williamson's partner did exactly this, turning right at the hatch and then exiting the door, assuming that firefighter Williamson had followed behind him. It is believed at this point that BA Team 1 did not maintain sufficient close personal contact. Whilst firefighter Williamson's movements from the end of the bar are now unclear, he did however enter a room directly above the office in the basement, where the seat of fire was. When firefighter Williamson's partner exited the building, he stated to the sector commander that firefighter Williamson was right behind him, but this of course was not the case. We heard the subsequent messages that came between the incident commanders and team leaders, speaking to firefighter Williamson, now lost inside the building. The sector commander had instructed him to activate his DSU, hoping that the location of him would be found by the other BA teams and the emergency that was declared. You'll recall that the BA emergency was declared at 1:34. Two BA teams immediately entered the premises, attempting to find and rescue firefighter Williamson. They shouted his name loudly and attempted to contact him via radio without success. They had now lost contact and were unsure of his location. Plus, they couldn't hear the DSU. As you will recall, a member of the 2nd BA emergency team fell through the floor just minutes after the firefighter Williamson was instructed to activate his DSU. It was sheer luck of the firefighter's strength, agility, and the ability for him to turn quickly and grasp the leg of his partner that prevented the firefighter falling into a fully developed fire in the basement below. This area was not the most fire-damaged part on the floor, but the damage to the floor was greatest in front of the door that led to the room that firefighter Williamson was eventually found and confirmed to be trapped in. So how long was firefighter Williamson in the incident? Remember, this was his second wear. He entered the building at 01:16, 39 minutes into the incident. 74 minutes into the incident, at 01:52, the projected time of whistle for firefighter Williamson's BA set had now been reached. Assuming he was still alive, he had roughly less than 10 minutes left. Unfortunately, it wasn't until 03:06, 148 minutes into the incident, that firefighter Williamson was removed from Sector 3. What can we learn from this? A review of the various investigatory reports into the Balmoral fire identified a number of recommendations that have been considered when developing the report that we refer to in this incident debrief. There's a point to be made about multiple wears in any incident. However, across the UK Fire and Rescue Service, lessons have been identified, and it is not unheard of through many incident reports that firefighters are still participating in multiple BA wears in similar conditions to those undertaken by firefighter Williamson on the morning he died. Given the urgency and criticality of certain types of incidents, operational crews will tolerate an increase in risk that places themselves in harm's way so that they maximise the opportunity of a successful rescue of a trapped colleague or a member of the public. It is acknowledged that working in dangerous and dynamically hazardous environments is an inherent part of a firefighter's job as they deliver that commitment to serve our communities. The efforts and contribution of firefighters at these incidents are justifiably praised. However, reflection on whether a suitably sufficient, safe system of work is being maintained requires consideration when establishing which lessons are required to be taken forward. It's important to acknowledge many great decisions were made. Incident commanders will at times experience information overload. This does present a challenge to ensure safety information and risk-critical command decisions are adequately considered and communicated. It's crucially important that commanders at incidents like this take steps to mitigate this risk. This can be achieved through the provision of instruction, training, competent supervision, and resources on the incident ground that reflect the reality and requirements of an operational environment. In this way, we will reduce the risk to both our firefighters and the communities. Rationale. The prioritisation of the first incident commander was to focus on the life risk by undertaking rescues from the flattened properties above the bar and to locate and establish, including extinguish, the nature of the fire and the fire itself in the basement. To deliver this tactical plan, the initial and subsequent commanders decided to commit in excess of 60 BA wearers. They recommitted firefighters in BA to a challenging environment. They instructed firefighters to wear BA up to 5 times at this incident. They did of course establish BA Stage 2 and main control and declared a BA emergency at the incident, having deployed multiple BA emergency teams to try and rescue their firefighter. Despite all of these efforts, the pursuit of the operational tactical plan and the management of it resulted in a number of BA procedural concerns. A few of them are things such as a non-compliance with close personal contact between BA team members. Many of the BA teams also received limited or incomplete briefings prior to deployment. The BA emergency teams that were committed into high-risk environments were ill-equipped and without a full appreciation of the hazards they were facing. Remember things like the holes in the floor. On top of this, there was inadequate debriefing of BA teams to influence the decision-making of the commanders outside and the subsequent teams being committed into the incident. There is an obvious concern as well around the BA welfare arrangements. Teams were not being adequately rested and effectively rotated through a developing, hot, humid, very dangerous incident. You will have noted as we went through the timeline of the incident, there was a variety of tactics implemented for ventilation of this building. With the fire in the Balmoral Bar not being fully ventilated and no fire extinguishing water jet applied in the early stages of the incident, Thick black smoke was produced and restricted visibility to almost zero in both the basement and the ground floor. This made locating access to the basement problematic. To try and alleviate the problem, ad hoc ventilation of the premises was undertaken, with the delivery hatch being forced open and the ground floor windows being smashed. As we all know, ad hoc ventilation can feed a fire through the introduction of fresh oxygen supply and encourage unwanted fire spread, thus increasing the risk to the firefighters inside. Appropriately applied tactical ventilation supports the commitment to firefighter safety, increases the probability of fire survival for casualties, and reduces damage to property and environment. It does this in a variety of ways, not to mention removing superheated fire gases, a restoration of breathable atmosphere. It restores some visibility back into the area. It also reduces the potential for an uncontrolled flashover or backdraft inside the property. Tactical ventilation can be achieved by the application of a range of natural and forced airflow methods through the use of mechanical positive pressure fans that we'll have on all of our appliances across the UK. Specifically in an operational concept, there's 3 recognised options really available to UK Fire and Rescue Service. Most will know these as Phase 1, which is post-fire, Phase 2, which is when the fire is covered and under control, and then finally Phase 3. This is part of the fire attack, where simultaneous activities are taking place. Tactical ventilation really is an operational skill, which can be employed in tandem with conventional firefighting methods. Technique is designed to aid crews dealing with incidents where superheated fire gases, smoke, and residual heat can be confined within compartmental areas. The evidence available in these reports would suggest that ventilation of the Balmoral Bar was not actually part of an overall tactical plan. Those who undertook the ventilation of the premises had not been trained in Phase 3 tactical ventilation. The approach undertaken did not give due consideration to the potential to increase both the development of the fire and the risk to the firefighters already committed in BA. One of the final lessons learned in this report is that there is a need to renew the emphasis on the resourcing of an appropriate command, control, and communications infrastructure at these really complex incidents. Incident commanders, and I include myself in that, we don't have the luxury of hindsight when setting out our tactical plans. The earlier that the command infrastructure can be put in place with trained, competent officers, the greater the control of the incident is likely to be. This will be particularly true in an evolving, complex scenario such as the one that the operational commanders found themselves in at Balmoral Bar. In high-demand scenarios, information overload is a challenge that incident commanders are required to consider when determining what spans of control are appropriate. They did of course sectorise the incident, they had entry control points in place, but the dissemination of risk-critical information in a timely and coherent manner is key to maximising the opportunity for incident success and supporting the objective of firefighter safety. Resource requirements need to be made available on the incident ground and allocated in line with the priorities set out in the tactical plan. The earlier this happens, the more likely they will be to assist in ensuring firefighter safety and incident success. At the Balmoral Bar incident, the deployment of incident command resources was not aligned to the incident priorities. It's also important to remember that the incident commander's determination of command structure shouldn't be limited to physical resources. The establishment of a communications plan and resources to ensure the dissemination of information across the incident ground and beyond needs to be considered. The Balmoral Bar incident experienced delays in the allocation of separate incident command and BA radio channels. This, along with radio blocking, restricted communications and information flow. The allocation to radio channels to specific roles, the development of the communications timeline, and radio discipline all play part in maintaining suitable and sufficient command and control of the incident. There was a huge investigation to this incident, as you'd expect for a firefighter death. Considering this was a severe fire and structural damage to the ground and basement floors of the building, it hasn't actually been possible to determine the definitive cause of the fire. However, the evidence of smoking within the office itself, witness accounts, and published scientific literature, it's likely that the fire started as a result of careless disposal of smoking materials. This incident actually progressed to a criminal investigation, and it was determined that there was sufficient evidence to progress with a criminal prosecution, and at the High Court in Edinburgh on the 20th of March 2015, Lord Eust imposed a fine of £54,000 on Scottish Fire and Rescue Service after the service pleaded guilty to health and safety breaches following the death of firefighter Williamson. Unfortunately, when it comes to incident debriefs, and the podcast's tremendous desire to share even more of them, there is a significant difference between identifying a lesson and all of our organisations collectively ensuring that a lesson's been learnt. There's no quick wins to improving an organisation to the scale and complexity of some of the fire and rescue services and brigades across the UK, and indeed across the world. This ends the debrief for the incident that happened at Balmoral Bar, Dalry Road, Edinburgh, on the 12th of July 2009. Our thoughts go out to the family, friends and colleagues of firefighter Ewan Williamson. Ewan Williamson was born on the 5th of March 1974 and died in his operational duties on the 12th of July 2009. Our hope in continuing to do these incident debriefs is that you'll listen to them, maybe even you'll listen again, and we won't have to learn these lessons more than once. Thank you for being with us today. Stay safe out there. We'll see you soon. The Firefighters podcast is put together to develop, inspire, and hopefully even motivate those individuals who have chosen to serve our communities and be part of the first responder family. It's brought to you by myself, operational firefighter Pete Wakefield. If you have enjoyed today's episode and you want to see the podcast continuing, please head over to our Patreon page where you can support the ongoing efforts of the podcast. Please hit that follow, subscribe, or rate button on whatever platform you're listening to. Please support your emergency services responders, and thank you for listening.